there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Deck Builder here with a Magic the Foundations pre-release box opening and discussion about the limited environment with Foundations. I've actually played in one pre-release already, and hopefully we can get another pre-release firing here in a few hours, and I can build a different archetype and see how well I do with it. So I'm pretty much lukewarm with Foundations. I think that it seems to be a pretty good introduction set, so yeah. It is what it is with that. That's what it's meant to be. I think the mechanics in this are pretty straightforward. The archetypes kind of build themselves, and it's just not as mechanically pleasing as some of the other sets like Bloom Burrow or Duskmorn or Outlaws of Thunder Junction. But it's a great way to get people into the game because, like I said, the mechanics are pretty much straightforward and whatnot. So let's see what I'm going to show what I built last time around. I actually tried to record a video and the audio was off. It was getting my webcam audio, not my audio, and so it was a disaster of a video. But anyway, I was able to go like, I want to call this red-white, but it's basically white splash red. It was... Unfortunately, like all of my rares were pretty lackluster, and it got like an Omniscience and a Time Stop, and there was like another blue rare, and none of them worked in the pool. So I had to make ends meet with what I pulled out of white, which the curve on white was super strong. So that's what I'm starting to think about this particular format. It is going to be a curve format, so you're going to be more worried about how you curve out rather than finding like a good synergistic mechanically archetype that typically you find in like I said, the Bloom Burrows and the Duskmorns and Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So I had a really good curve with basically 2 drops and 3 drops. Lifelink seems really good in this format, by the way. So I saw some neat little black-white decks going around. I didn't have a lot of ways to gain life, but by far the all-star of last night was the Healer's Hawk and Cat Collector. That generated me so much 1/1 tokens to just tempo out the game, and that's basically what I did. And the other card in this ended up being a win con in a couple of matches, which surprised me, was Ravenous Amulet. So the board state got stalled pretty bad, and Ravenous Amulet just kept ticking up and drawing so much card advantage, and eventually got in there for the last lethal bit of point of damage. So yeah, so I ended up pulling 2 Cat Collectors, Healer's Hawk. That was kind of my little shtick with this deck. I had some pretty underwhelming things that I had to play in the deck, like the Gyata Font of Hope, which works off angels, and I had one other angel in the entire pool, which was another angel that worked off angels, the Youthful Valkyrie, and they never saw each other the entire match and never got any sort of synergy out of the two, which the synergy wasn't that great anyway. Like +1/+1 counter is the best I can get. And I ended up playing this guy, which is a 2/2 for 2, the Hair Apparent, and only pulled 1. So yeah, it was, again, a pretty straightforward little deck. I did get 1 bomb, and if you do pull this card is absolutely insane, this Celestial Armor. So this card ends up pushing through so much value. So basically, you can use it as removal, pseudo combat trick removal, to keep your card alive, kill your opponent's card. Your opponent tries to kill something, give it hexproof. You can give it indestructible. And then it is later game, you can turn any one of your tokens basically into a 3/1 flyer. And Celestial Armor won me so many games. So definitely was, again, kind of a straightforward red-white kind of aggressive shell. I'm starting to notice some archetypes in here for sure with red-white tokens. You have the what is it, Heroic Intervention, as well as you got this neat little card called now if I can find it here, the Goblin Surprise, which is actually a really, really powerful effect with being able to create 2 cards at instant speed, or all creatures get +2/+0. So I'm thinking this is going to be a very fun draft environment. We're going to try to do a draft if we can get enough people after the pre-release to do a draft. If not, we will have to wait till the next week, and I'll see how well that goes. I'm sure Arena will have Foundations on it. It'll be fun to draft some different archetypes. Again, some of the other cool. Celestia seemed pretty cool. White just seems super strong in this format. Blue just seemed all over the place. Maybe it was just my pool, but the curve was awful. You had a lot of like defensive cards, and then you wanted to kind of go aggressive with some other cards. I'm sure it pairs well with like black in certain archetypes and whatnot. But let's go ahead and open this up and see what we have, and I will build a deck with it, or I'll give you my thoughts on what I would build, and then I'm going to have to go and play in this next pre-release. So my buddy, Tyler, actually opened up 2 of these 9 Life Familiars in his pre-release. last night and was able to get the guy that sacrificed to get +1/+1 counter, and also had the Blood Artist, and he just won so many games with that combo. I've been able to sacrifice 9 Lives Familiar over and over and over, at least each turn, and then get a lot of value out of this card. So I'm liking like the black sacrifice in this format, and of course black is my favorite color in Limited by far. I just think it's the easiest to find synergies with and value with, and I'm definitely a value player, so I love black, and this 9 Life Familiar I think is definitely a good card with a lot of different archetypes. So of course love to open up a Stab, the very first card, and we had a Fleeting Distraction, which is a pretty good combat trick, and the Healer's Hawk, can't go wrong with Healer's Hawk, with a Sure Strike. Sure Strike is a solid little either combat trick or pumping through damage plus your pursuit on first strike is fine. And Fake Your Own Death also can be a fun little combat trick with the sacrifice type strategy. And we got a Bite Down and a Pilfer, Witness Protection, which is a good removal spell, and the Vampire Nighthawk. So I'm looking, so far this is a really good pack for black. Joust Through is also a very good removal spell for white, and our white-black is definitely starting to build itself here. We got an Essence Scatter, which is actually strong in the limited environment. So Essence Scatter, they upshifted to an uncommon, huh? And then we have Alesha, Who Laughs at Fate, which can actually be a very strong card with recurring cards from your graveyard. So, being your end step, if you attack with a creature, you can turn a creature card with mana value less than or equal to Alesha's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, awesome card with First Strike 2/2. You can get a value out of it immediately. Sometimes you have another card in the graveyard. And we get an Icewind Elemental as a 3/4 flyer, which is a little bit underwhelming actually in this format. There's a lot of white and green that the ground is just so strong. I feel like paying 5 mana for a 3/4 just seems very underwhelming, and it doesn't draw a card, it just loots. So at that point, you might actually be out of cards in your hand. You could look a land at that point, but I don't know. You probably had to play out all your lands to cast it on curve. I'm just not a fan of this Icewind Elemental whatsoever. I think it's very, very underwhelming. It's like one of those cards that hasn't scaled with the rest of the cards. Alrighty, so we got a Land or Else. Love this card. Great way to ramp into stuff. We have an Uncharted Voyage, which is fine. It's removal. Instant speed for 4 mana is great. Put a creature on top of their owner's top or bottom. A Banishing Light is good if we're going the white-black. And we have the Axguard Cavalry, which is a nice little bear effect, which also can give haste. Yeah, this can be hard even out of the first couple packs not to justify going to black. We have 2 removal spells and a Vampire Nighthawk already. There's our first Aberrant, and a Campus Guide will allow us to splash if we really want to play that Alesha, and the Dreadwing Scavenger. So again, this card seems like underwhelming. It's a 2/2 whenever a creature enters or attack, draw a card, then discard a card so you get a loot, and then if you have Threshold, it can get Death Touch and +1/+1, but it's only a 2/2 when it comes out. Yes, I know you can start looting. It just feels underwhelming. Maybe I'm miscalculating the card. Brazen Scourge, very aggressive, 3/3 haster for 3, and the Rune Sealed Wall, which is a good old 0/6 wall that can't block Juggernaut. And then you can Surveil one because Juggernaut is in this format. So we have the High-Fae Trickster, which you can cast spells as flash, and it's a 4/2 flying for 4 mana. See, this one I do like. This is where you flash this in, it's quite the clock. It gives everything else flash. High-Fae Trickster is great. So now actually blue-black is looking pretty snazzy, and the Sky Knight Squire, though, comes out and says, hey, hold that thought. Whenever another creature control enters, put a +1 counter on this creature, and as long as this creature has 3 or more, it becomes a 1/1 flyer. And it did +1/+1. Oh, if it's 3 or more +1 counters, it gains flying and is a knight and adjacent to its types. So it's a strong card there, especially with the go wide strategy of white. The Eagle Truffle Snout, definitely a decent little card, a 4/2 for 3 mana. So I'm just saying, look at this. This is what I'm talking about with the Icewind Elemental. It's a 3/4 for 5. This card's come out a couple turns earlier, generated a food token, has trample. It's just, those cards are too slow at that point, in my opinion, the 3/4 flyers. But I mean, a Threshold ends up being something that is necessary. I could see us playing it. We have the Gutless Plunderer, Death Touch 2/2, and when this creature enters, if you attack, look at the top 3 cards of your library, you may put one of those cards back on top of your library and put the rest of your graveyard. Kind of weird effect, like it doesn't draw. The Death Touch is okay for a 2/2 for 3. You can then get Threshold online. I get it, but it's a little underwhelming. You got a Giant Growth. And the Wizard, when you draw your second card each turn, put up a counter, it can get bigger and bigger with draw effects. And then we have our first Angel. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain a life. And then we have the Sower of Chaos, which can make things not block. We got another wall that Juggernaut can't block Juggernaut.
the Gleaming Barrier, which is decent in the little sacrifice effect. We have another Witness Protection, so black-blue is actually looking really good. Infernal Vessel comes back as a demon, is basically a 4-3, or 4-2 after it dies once, which is good for the sacrifice. And we have the Wildwood Scourge, which you can get a lot of counters on this card, and then on whenever it gets a counter, other creatures get counters. Get the Spectral Sailor, great card for the, blue-black's looking great. We got a Diregraph Ghoul, and we have the Sire of Seven Deaths, which basically can just go in any deck we decide to run it in. And the Elsworn Giant, which then is a pretty good landfall card with 5/3 reach. Man, now I'm really liking green. Green is shaping up here to be a pretty decent color. So far, black still seems the best. Blue-black I'm leaning towards, but now black-green is starting to look super, super strong. We have Fleeting Distraction, which is fine. We Make Your Move, the Crackling Cyclops. We have whenever you gain life, each opponent loses life. That pairs really good with white. The Bushwhack, very good either removal spell / find a card. So, I mean, I could see us going into Jund for Alesha. We have the Pilfer again, and another Campus Guide, which really allows us to fix. And we got the Shivan Dragon. Is now an uncommon. We have the Guarded Air, which is 6 mana for a 1/1 lifelinker that creates 2 3/3 knights. So really, really heavy on the curve there, though. But you get 2 3/3 knights that do not have vigilance, or anything else. But this guy does have lifelink, is what it is. The Banner. So now we can definitely ramp into stuff. So green is looking super strong with that landfall card. Now with the Banner, naming green or naming white. Like now, white green actually seems pretty good. And then we have the Immolator, which is a great red uncommon, which can end up being removal with Prowess. And a Phyrexian Arena is definitely great with the life gain strat. And then we have the Hunger Ghoul, which has a combination with the 9 lives. So I'm really, really liking white black still is now where I'm headed, because now it seems like the arena, we got the Jungle Banner though. We could go into Abzan, no problem. I think with the Campus Guides and the fixing is super strong with now the lands. I mean, this is going to be rough. This is always with Sealed, where blue still seems strong. Like these Fleeting Distractions actually have some pretty good synergy with the Prowess. Well, not Prowess card, where'd the guy go? The Wizard. He ends up getting pretty big later on. And we have 2 Witness Protections too, which seems strong. Yeah, geez. A lot of these cards seem pretty strong in blue. We got the Burglar Rat, which is definitely decent, really good for the basically the sacrifice strategy with the Apothecary Stomper with gaining life, which actually works with our black deck with draining. And this can also be a 6/6. It has Vigilance. Vigilance is pretty strong in this format and is pretty good. We have the Big Fin Bouncer. You can bounce a card back to your opponent's hand and a Fleeting Flight, +1 counter on target creature, and it gains flying until end of turn to prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it. Strong little combat trick, and it works with our +1 counter strategy. The Firebrand Archer. Now our Fleeting Distractions are super strong with this Prowess red strategy we got going on. We got our second Hair Apparent and the Wary Thespian, which is kind of a filler 3/1 card. And Garrick's Uprising, which actually has some pretty decent synergies with the cards we've pulled so far. The Skyship Buccaneer, 4/3, and then when it enters, if you attack this turn, draw a card. So this one's a lot better. This is much better than the other card I was talking about. The Twin Blade. It's got flash, enchant creature has double strike for 3 mana. And we have Ruby, Daring Tracker. Whenever Ruby attacks while you control a creature with power 4 or greater, it gets +2/+2, and it has the ability to generate a black or a red or a green. Celestial Armor. Okay, so now I really want to go to white because this card is bonkers strong. So we did pull another Celestial Armor, and we got Hitsuko's Second Right. That's going to be in Standard too. Oh boy. Oh boy, Hitsuko's second right is now in Standard with a burn type strategy, and there's actually quite a few burn cards right now in the format. I missed that one when I was looking over spoilers. Jeez, now I'm really wondering where I should go. We got the Light Shield Duo with a Prowess and the Cathar's Commando, which can actually take care of bombs from your opponents. Courageous Goblin, the Vampire Soulcaller, which returns a card. We have an Ambush Wolf with really we're good with Garrick's Uprising. Think Twice, and a Soul Shackled Zombie which exiles cards and drains. Yeah, green-black. I'm thinking green-black is definitely the route we're going. Another Shivan Dragon, and maybe splash white, and even splashing for something like the guarded air might be something that is decent. Oh, we got another banner. So yeah, geez. Now I really have a choice to make. Another Heartfire Immolator. And then it says, okay, Kevin, you forgot about blue? Well, here's a Curator of Destinies, which is a 5/5 for 6, which then allows you to have the Fact or Fiction, I believe, effect, where you look at top 5 cards of the library, your opponent puts them in 2 piles, and you choose one. So this is a very good card to be blinked, can't be countered. It's a 5/5 flyer, pretty strong card. And we do have a Blossoming Sands, though. So, again, this is where as much as I'm liking blue, like I could definitely justify just going black-blue and feeling good about it, because we have 2 witness protections. We have filler cards like Fleeting Distraction, and Think Twice's, which basically just cantrip themselves. So basically what these cards always allow you to do, these particular cards is, I mean, they're not going to get a lot of triggers off of Prowess or the card that draws their second card per turn, but they do. But mainly it just then makes your deck a smaller deck, because you're going to be cycling, cantripping these is what we like to call it. And I mean, some of these Essence Scatter's fine. Like blue, I could definitely see playing blue-black and just being happy about it. Red, unfortunately, seems the least complete. We have like Shivan Dragons. We have double Heartfire Immolators, which could be very strong with the fleeting. Sure Strikes. Like we could definitely go like a very aggressive red with triple Sure Strikes, or is it double? So double Sure Strikes. We got Sure Strikes. We have Firebrand Archers. We have some decent stuff, but it just feels a little bit underwhelming, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it does feel underwhelming to me with red, which is pretty disappointing. I mean, Shivan Dragon, you could make the argument is kind of a bomb with a 5/5 flying for 6 mana. They can just take over the game. Black, though, we did see a little bit disappointing to not find more removal, but we have a Stab, and we have a Bacon of the Pie, which are both very good removal spells. And like Phyrexian Arena is also good, but I am wondering if black is also not the right route to go. What makes black interesting is you have a 4/2, you have the combo with the Hungry Ghoul with the 9 Lives Familiar, which is a really good combination. And we have, quite a few aggressive cards. We have the Vampire Nighthawk that works with the Death Touch Lifelink. You can't go wrong with Vampire Nighthawk. It's going to trade with everything. It's going to give you a lot of lifelink, hopefully, by getting in there. Man, but in all honesty, I don't know. Maybe he's green. Like, Garrick's Uprising seems super, super strong with being able to draw cards with all of these 4/2s that are in black and in green. We have like Ambush Wolf. We have the Apothecary Stomper. We have the Elsworn Giant. We have the Wildwood Scourge, basically. They can enter. We have the Eager Truffle Snout. Like, all of them are getting... And we have land where else it can get there. Unfortunately, it seems a little bit low, too. I mean, the problem with this pool is one color just doesn't have a big, pool here. Like, I think it's going to be Splash White to put in some of the more... But Splashing Light also seems weird because we have this low to the ground white strategy that, double Apparents are okay. I mean, they're not going to see each other that much. We got a Jouster, which is... We have a Banishing Light, a Celestial Armor, which are super strong cards. The Commando's good. And I'm thinking... I don't know. I'm thinking maybe this isn't the route to go. I wonder how good these guarded airs are with a 3/3s, 2/3/3s, and a 1/1. I'm actually starting to think that it's probably not the route to go, is white. So that actually makes me lean to possibly going into Sultai and seeing where that takes us. Or we could go into Jund and see where Jund takes us. We have Shivan Dragons that seem a little bit lackluster, though, once they get to that. Yeah, Jund actually doesn't seem where I want to be either. And possibly we don't even care to go into... I mean, the banners just seem so strong with those airs, though. Like, ramping from the banners into the airs is going to happen. And we're going to be wanting to ramp anyway with Sire of the Seven Death. So that's probably where I'm leaning, Yeah, definitely where I'm leaning now is going to be into Canvas Guides are fine just to fix. Into Abzan. Abzan's where I'd go with this, I think. And just play the most high impact cards. It probably, now that I'm looking at it, is going to be... Black is weird to splash, though, because we have all of these doubles. You have doubles in the form of Bacon the Pie. We have 9 lives. We have Phyrexian Arena. But Celestia actually just seems super powerful with just playing Celestia. But I don't know. This is rough. This one's actually one of the harder pools I've had in a while of determining the route to go. And now I'm actually considering splashing blue just to get a few of the... No, that wouldn't be the route to go. All right, that's out of the question. Yeah, this is difficult. I actually do not know. Naya even seems strong. Don't know. I don't know where this is going to take me. I'm going to have to mull it over for sure of where to go. I mean, the Heartfight Immolators, they don't really seem like splashable. They want to come out super early and then get the prowess triggers off of them. But, I mean, we have this decent little ramp strategy going on with the banners, the Sire of Death to get there. I hate not to go like white with the airs, but it could still just be a splash white just to get up there. And has some decent stuff for sure. Yeah, really decent stuff. Interesting. I don't know how I'm going to go. We'll have to mull it over, though. I got a pre-release starting in a few minutes here. Oh, 10 minutes. So I better get thinking about what to do with this. And not sure if I'm going to follow up video, but hopefully this video has been enjoyable to kind of follow my thought process on how I build the pre-release kind of sealed format. And this should be more fun, though, than my last deck. My last deck was so boring. I don't like just going Boros aggro and calling it a day, but crazy. I could definitely see anyone sitting down with this pool and going any of these directions. Justifiable, whatever color combinations I think I'd end up, I could justify. Man, I wish black just was... Is black just not quite there? Crazy. Anyway, I've dragged on for long enough. Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder. Thanks for watching.